Hello everybody, welcome back to another counter-side video, and this time I'm gonna give you the beginnings of a little bit of a beginning guide of a fantastic mode that is known as dimension trimming. So, the reason I'm making this is because I finally managed to beat it. I know, it's like, oh yeah, okay, well who cares, right? But like, I know that I'm not the only people to struggle with this, right? I genuinely think I've break my own account, to be honest, but it's been saved, right? It's been saved. I've actually got a few characters recently that will actually help me a lot, and one of them is Kyrian. I'll get to him in a minute, by the way. Like, he's, oh my god. So, right, let's calm down a bit, right? So, this is going to be a bit of a guide, kind of, right? I know that people have made guides for dimension trimming on higher levels before, but if you're just starting out, you know, and you're not really caring about the higher levels, right, then sure, right? Just this one, I think, will just be the beginnings, right, of your journey, because I think there's, like, loads and loads of levels, right? And it will just get harder and harder, but at the beginning, why should you go into this mode? I know, like, that's an easy question to answer, actually. I'm glad you asked, right? Genuinely, because this mode gives out dimension cubes, and the only way to make these work is to craft maze gear. And there it is, the maze gear universal mold. And honestly, this is great because maze gear is one of the best gears in the game, gear sets in the game, because of the fact that you can just basically put on anybody and it'll just work, right? And it's just, yeah, it's great. And another reason why, like, it's powerful, sure, it's very valuable, and it's also quite rare, or at least it was before this mold came out. So before, you need to go to shops, you need to go do events, and there was a very limited number that you'd be able to get these, right? But now, you can just craft them. So long as you go and as long as you have enough dimension cubes, which only come from dimension trimming. And it says here that, oh, it only comes from jungle dimension trimming. Well, it doesn't. It comes from any mode. So if we go to jungle for a second, right? You can see that it has 3 separate modes. The dimension cubes come from all 3 of them, not just jungle. So I'm just pointing that out, right? They didn't specify that they came from, like, Swift or whatever, right? But Swift is actually one of the easier ones to do, instead of jungle or volcano. But we're focusing on Swift because it actually has another use as well as dimension cubes, right? But anyway, now that you know why you should be farming this, because I do think that, like, it's a really, really good event, and it's something that you should do. Not at all like me, you know, the person who spent, like, a year on this game and is only now farming it, as you can tell. Don't do what I did. It's a very big mistake. Just, when you get the chance, if you get the chance, farm it as soon as possible. It will make your life so much easier. Now, we get into here, and you have 3 different stages, as you can see. But let's get to level 1, just to make it easier, right? So, we have, for example, robot, woman, and another woman. You know, like, there's the stages, right? So, we have to have the 3 different comps. Well, if we go back a bit, right? As you can see, they have 3 different debuffs for every stage. So, the first one, for example, which is the, if I can go onto the thing, the first one is the mech, right? The red moth is the boss here. And that first stage, mechs HP minus 5% per second, right? And attack plus and skill haste minus 10%. So it gets rid of a 10% of the attack and skill haste in total, and then it's HP minus 5% per second for mechs only, right? So this is why you probably don't want to use mechs. And for the second one, which is the Sylvia, the girl with the pink hair, same thing but for counters, and for soldiers it's the third one, right? So same thing but for soldiers. So don't use mechs for the first level, don't use counters for the second one, or don't use soldiers for the third one. Or at least try to use as few as possible, right? That is essentially what that's telling you. It's very important to note that, because then it slightly changes how you should play and try to pass it, right? But anyway, so we've got these 3 stages. You could look at all the enemies that are going to be present in said stages. As you can see, Red Moth is the most dangerous one, because you can't reduce its attack speed. It has high skill haste, high attack, and a barrier as well. There's a specific mechanic around this barrier, I think, that makes it more powerful if it actually ends up getting activated. which is why you should try and kill it before it puts its barrier up, but we'll get to that when we actually play through the level. And we also have Hounds, which damage reduction. It's just a really tanky tank, so it's nothing really special about that. And then Arachnids. Now, I'm not, don't quote me on this, but I think for this level specifically, the more robots you kill, the more powerful Red Moth gets, at least for attack, right? Attack increases, right? As far as I'm aware. I'm not sure if that's the case, but that's how I remember it anyway. But yeah, that's the lineup for this one. So obviously we have this lineup here. This is one that I've made, right? So we don't, obviously, as we've previously established, we don't want mechs in here, which is why I've put counters and soldiers in this comp. Pretty obvious. But we also have two people that do really well against mechs. Obviously, there's the glitch as well, but like it's not so important, right? Whether you have him in or not. But Machine Collector and Rita Rosinenko, those are the two key characters for this stage, right? Because they are very, very good at dealing with mechs. Either because they apply very horrendous debuffs on them, or they actually just outright kill them, or just do like loads more damage. For Rita specifically, right? I think her special skill deals, gives some information. Yeah. So for the special skill, instantly finishes one mech with 20% HP or lower within range, and for her passive, additional anti-mech damage resistance plus 30%. So, like, Rita, she's got damage resistance and anti-mech damage for mechs. Like, she's just all around mech focused, right? And as you can see, her gear is not great, right? I've almost gotten skill haste for her, an entire set of skill haste, but it's not there, right? So she ends up with only 6% from all these attributes here. For example, like skill haste there. Oh, it's only on one piece. There you go. But yeah, like she's not got much, but she works, right? Because of her mech-centered kit. Also, Machine Collector for the same reason, right? You've got the stacks above, right? And then consumes all 4, and then does like damage reduction penetration by 25%. So the tank, the Hound, that kit that you saw earlier, that very good against the Hound, and also twice % effective on mechs. You see? So there you go. There's one reason. Shutdown code is by default. That's why you bring Machine Collector. Is because it does AoE damage around the target. And suppresses damage reduction by 5 to 25% for 5 to 25 seconds in proportion to the number of the consumed passive stacks. So if it has max stacks, it'll do 25%, 25%, you know, the stacks, right? You get the point, right? Look, probably poorly explained, but yeah, you get the point. And then it's twice % effective on mechs. So instead of being 25%, it'll be 50% on mechs. So yeah, it's huge, huge, huge. Also, level 5 nullifies one random non-permanent buff and stuns affected mechs for 4 seconds. Very, very good. That stun will actually be a recurring theme, right? And because as far as I can tell, there really aren't many enemies that are immune to stun, so that'll be your best friend. So that's the first stage. So I just paired the Anti-Imp with this because ally counters and mechs gain plus 12 attack and plus 25 hit, which is what I've got. Okay, I've got one mech, and that's Sigma, right? But she's like an exception because she's meant to be my damage dealer, right? And I'm about to explain this in a second. The other things that Enterprise can do is skill haste plus 25%, which is huge. Allies counters and mechs, yeah, I'll do that. Additional enemy defense minus 30% for 8 seconds. So it's a defense reduction as well. So it's just great. Really is great. Anyway, I'm going to get into the first level, and we'll see how we do. Right, so the Arachnids get hit. Evolve Overflow is a good tank for this. Stuns them immediately when he's deployed. They're building up the stacks at the moment. Machine's Collector building up the stacks. Rita's about to come out. Yeah, there she is. The front line goes down, but we have enough damage and healing to at least keep these units alive for a bit longer. There's the stun again. Stuns the smaller mechs. And out comes Sigma. She's now going to be the front line and the damage dealer. So it will work quite well, actually. There comes, I believe, the ultimate there. And as you can see, it's not the enemy boss has not put the barrier yet. That's very important. There comes the Hound. I'm trying to deal with it as quickly as possible. Huge amount of damage being put on there, actually. And there comes the damage amplification. That's something I didn't mention as well. I took one of the witches because her special skill, if you place her anywhere, she does like damage amplification plus 10%. It's actually pretty good. Small, but I think it makes it easier. So then comes the second tank again. Glitch comes out, extra anti-mech damage for Glitch as well. And then we just pile onto the enemy. Boom, 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 and then it's dead. Not even a chance in hell that he's going to be staying alive. Oh, wait, no, actually, okay. The barrier does get to poise once. So I'm not actually sure. It should be fine. It should be fine, yeah. The rest are coming back now. There comes the ultimate a second time. Healing. Barrier does take a while to get rid of, unfortunately. But there it goes, and then I've just killed it. Easy game. Easy game. So there you go. That's the first one, anyway. So for the second team that we're going against, we've got a corrupted enterprise. Basically works like my enterprise, but the same. We've got this weakness, right? Weak damage on enemy barrier. So that essentially means if your party has barriers on any of their units, the damage output from these enemies, like even the ship, will be drastically reduced. So it's encouraged to have barriers on your team. Kyle is the most annoying by far out of this because he works like a normal Kyle, level 5 skills on everything. I mean, he even drops down like the double barrier. So for Kyle specifically, if I just go to him real quick. So strategy bulwark, like this is what I'm talking about here. Summons a bulwark 4 meters in front of him. That lasts for 8 seconds. Targets that were hit upon summoning of the bulwark are stunned for 2 seconds. Afterwards, it forces one nearby target to attack it at regular intervals. And then at level 5, additionally summons a smaller bulwark 13 meters in front for 4 seconds. But still has that stunning effect that the main one has. So it can be very annoying to deal with him a lot of the time. But once the barriers are down, like if you've got good DPS, honestly, it doesn't matter, really. But this is why it's only annoying and not a legitimate threat, right? Sylvia, she's got high anti-air damage, but you don't need to worry about that because you're not going to use any air units. It's like kind of pointless. Like Kyle also has high anti-air damage. It's pointless using putting out air units, right? Everything has anti-air damage, but the most dangerous thing that Sylvia can do is she can do her, like, Icy Beam attack, which is her ultimate, and that does area of effect damage, which you'll see in a minute. There will be some units that automatically deploy shields, but you'll still want shields on every other member, or as many members as possible, so that they can stay alive for longer, just because of that one attack, right? Seeing as they're just promoted this much, right? But this is, again, very simple. Just have shields, have a good tank, have a good DPS, and then you'll win, really. The most you're going to worry about is Kyle. So long as you take the shields out quick enough, then you won't have to worry about him too much. Oh yeah, also, Sylvia stuns, right? I think her special skill stuns enemy units as well, so you need to watch out for that. But I think that matters less than Kyle's shields that come down and also stun people. So he'll be the priority. Once he's down, like, the rest of the levels a cakewalk, to be honest. So as you can see here, right, we've got those shields being immediately put down. Not necessary for the Hilda or the Ifrit necessarily, but I think it's just good to have extra shields as they're traveling to the front lines. You probably want one for oh god, I forgot her fucking name, Body Rabbit Woman, because then she does extra damage against COs, which are good against the soldiers, right? And counters as well, which is obviously Kyle and Sylvia. As you can see, like, Hilda's getting stunned, but she's got a lot of health, actually. And she's going to be getting her shield back up very quickly, actually. So I don't need to worry too much. There we go. She's going to be charging forward. Here comes Curian, the instant damage dealer. There's the ultimate coming off for Hilda. Oh my god, she's almost dead. No, she died. No. Oh, that's bad. So Curian needs to actually get rid of these shields as quickly as possible, if he can. Oh my god, look at how much damage I'm piling on Kyle. It's insane, actually. Like, he's just about to die. Sadly, they're all stunned, but not going to be a problem for too long. Ifrit, having the shield, is going to be my temporary tank. There comes the ultimate from Curian. Going to be pushing straight through. Again, stunned, but Lumi has the shield. See, like, even when the big shielder dies, you want to have an you want to have like a smaller one, just to make it easier to cycle back through to the big awakened one so that you can get the front line. You keep the front line going sort of thing, right? And not have the back line just get annihilated. There comes the stun again, but the heal's up, right? It doesn't matter. She does her skill. Boom. Does her second skill. Boom. And then comes the shield again. So now Kyrian can focus on damage dealing again. Shield goes down. And then Kyle goes down again. And then they all charge forward, and it's only a matter of time now. That's it. Kyrian. Oh my god, look, 17,000 damage. That's Kyrian's damage, by the way. And he's not even built. It's crazy. Back forward. There comes the skill again. Shield's back up, so she's going to take reduced damage. Gonna have another ultimate from Kyrian. Unfortunately, he will die after this, which is going to be a bit of concerning, to be honest. There we go. Skill again. Kyrian gets redeployed. Oh no, he doesn't. He's still alive. That's excellent. Right, we're this bit tight, this is. We might be able to do it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. You see, no worries, no worries. It just works. It just works. And there we go. Okay, so now we've got to the third one, and oh my god, as you can see. Oh, Regina? What the fuck happened? Why have you got all these buffs? What? It doesn't really matter, right? Especially, I honestly laugh, right? High anti-ground damage resistance. It's definitely not high enough. Because I've already passed it, right? But basically, this is an area where you could just cheese air units, right? You can like put as many air units into your party as possible and just have them go at it, right? But the one thing that I will say is that you should probably put down a ground unit beforehand. The ideal situation is that that one ground unit will be the front line, and the rest of your air units will be the back line. So that they'll still get to shoot the enemy, and they'll be the ones that are mostly dealing all the damage. But that one frontline unit that will take all the damage, they'll be the one receiving it and shit like that, so that the enemies won't go to the air units and just pick them off really quickly, right? So that is essentially it. It looks scary, to be honest. I'll admit, it does look scary for someone who doesn't know what they're doing. But like, even the totem that heals units, it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all. Just throw one ground unit, one ground unit that does that serves as a tank really well, and just churn out your units. That's how you pass this. It's literally that. It's like, honestly, this is the simplest level out of all three. Okay, for the third one, as I said, like, I have one ground unit, but this is mainly an area where you just air spam, and now that basically wins you the game. But you want one ground so that they focus on him first, because he will be frontline, and the rest of the air units will be backline. It just makes it so much easier to coordinate your units. And then I have a healer to make sure Shion doesn't die too quickly. And then I make sure, like, all these soldiers get stunned. And this is why, like, he's really good for this specific situation, why I chose him. Yeah, the healer just gets absolutely annihilated, but then he can do counterattacks and he can keep, like, the units at bay and keep them damaged or stunned so that he has time to just whittle them down before the air units come in and provide him support. And then I can just keep counterattacking Regina, and then that's it, right? That's it. Like, the game's over already. There comes the ultimate. Drags all the soldiers in, by the way, so Shion doesn't get absolutely annihilated. And then, yeah, just gets killed. Also, damage taken amplification. That comes from Lvl1 as well. Helps Shion. Helps everyone, really, but helps Shion because he's the one that's going to be tanking all the damage for the rest of the team. And we're just waiting now, really. Like, I think out of all three levels, this is probably the easiest one because it's just air spam. There's the ultimate. Gets set off. Rosario coming in for the final blow there. Yeah. And that's all good. So, yeah, once you've passed it once, it's basically really easy, right, to do it again and again and again. So, yeah, I'm quite happy with this, personally. Wie weit sind out, Kameraden? As you can see, high-tech board, dimension cube. Insane. So, yeah, I just remembered that I did level 2, not level 1. But if it works for level 2, that shows you how good the team is, right? But there you go. So, those are my strategies for this. What I should also do is I should just show you, like, all the gear and stuff as well. Because I briefly described why I put these units in, but I didn't actually show the gear. So I'll just do that real quick right now. So, obviously, and actually what we'll do is we'll start with the ship, right? Level 100, full limit break. You can put this to 130, not necessary in my opinion. We've got Kim Hana because she's the easiest to get her operator skill, at least consistently. Her skill is at level 2, she's level 46, so obviously the higher the level, the more the more health the ship has, but that's not necessary unless you're doing PvP. But for this one, right, the command skill, which is unique to every single operator, that is necessary because then it gives slightly more skill haste for this one specifically. It's more skill haste and for a longer time as well. So there you go. Also, this one just restores 1 deployment cost as well. So, you know, this is why I specifically chose it for this. It's just to get all the units out as quickly as possible because time is of the essence for this first group. But now we can start with Overflow. So, as you can see, not great gears at all. Just got some. I cobbled together what I could, right? I got some absolutely terrible gears, but let me just get So these are the stats essentially that I've got. It's not really that amazing, to be honest, but the crit damage resistance, 75%, is really good. I think that's the only thing that makes this my Overflow so good right now. Obviously, I want to like improve them as much as possible. I also get like damage taken reduction, 10% as well, and then I've got all these different resistances. But really, you want like just damage taken reduction, anti-ground damage if you can. Though that's not necessary because you want him to live long enough to put out the stun. And that's his special skill, right? Also, he's immune to stun as well. Damage taken amplification also comes from him as well, and it works so well, right? And then crit damage resistance plus 75%. That is the max overwhelm skill. That's where that comes from. Very, very, very good. But I suggest increasing that if you can. I think up to 80%. Although not necessary, but damage reduction is probably better, I would say. He's got skill haste. Why do I put skill haste on him? So they can get his special skill out more often. Again. Because not only does he stun units, attack minus 25% for subsequent attacks. Oh boy. So it reduces the enemy's attack as well. So that it's just really good, right? But yeah, those are the stats for my Overflow. And I'll just whiz through these as quickly as possible. My Machine Collector, we've got Spectral Gears from the Shadow Palaces. And these are the stats for my Machine Collector. We've got Lvl1, who has got full skill haste gears. These are tier 3. I know they're not great, but for supporters they work well enough unless you get better gears, in which case you should replace them. But yeah, those are my stats for that. She's only got 52%. I want at least 60% to make her decent, but that's pretty good. Anti-ground damage res also can help a bit. Damage amplification is because I've got the tactical update. Yeah, she's level 3 on tactical update, which I probably should include as well, right? But yeah, that's my stats on there. Administration Rifleman is perhaps the worst built unit that I have because yes, it's got a full set of ASBD, but like it's got blue gear, which is really terrible for this, and it's also inhibitor, not breacher. Thankfully, the breacher's on the weapon, but you want breacher for all the rest of it, right? But crit damage res, 10.6%. It's not the worst. Not the best, but not the worst. So, I mean, like, every unit will benefit from crit damage resistance. So, I think this is not bad, but it could definitely be way better than this. And this what ends up being my final set stats for this unit currently. But I will put Swift on him and just massively increase that attack speed. I want it to be at least 60%, so I can make him a full damage dealer. Rita, as you can tell, like absolute dog shit skills, dog shit artifacts, whatever. Yeah, dog shit gear. 6.1% skill haste. You want that to be at least 40% to make it good. And it's crit damage. I don't know why that's so high necessarily, but I guess I like crit damage or something. The skill haste all comes from one piece of gear, as you know. So there they go. Sigma, one of the better built units. Her skill haste is 30%, again not great, but we also have damage taken reduction and the little things like anti-ranger damage resistance, because I think that if you want to get any of these resistances, if it's not anti-counter, it's going to be anti-ranger, because she's a melee unit, she's going to be really struggling to have damage resistance on like units that can fire from a distance away, especially snipers. I probably should put snipers on there, to be honest, because she's a striker, so snipers are going to have like more damage against strikers. But it's not bad. I also got anti-ground damage, 50% almost. It's 47%, but like that's pretty good. And then because she's got struggle, she's also got these extra stats as well. But yeah, that's my Sigma. And there's my glitch, absolutely dog shit again. You know, just whatever I can manage to scrape by. And then we've got Ingrid, that's her name. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about when I said about, oh, her skill does amplification, right? Damage taken amplification plus 10. So that'll be plus 20% because I've got in this team the overflow, which does 10% as well. So that's pretty good. And yeah, I did show her. Yeah, it's just absolutely rubbish. Like, it's just really, 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 really bad. But yeah, I still managed to pull it off. So long as you got one set, I think that's all you really need, right? For the second one, we've got Sigma. Hers is level 3. She just applies barriers. Her command skill is at level 3. For Hilda, one of the best units that I've got, Humagorgor, all HP. I'd suggest this is the best thing for Hilda, if you do have her. And I also have a reactor, which means that all ally units are granted one barrier, each worth 8% of max HP, right? While she's alive on the battlefield. So she also puts shields on everybody, which is why I specifically chose her for this one, right? One against, like, Kyle and whatever, right? But you don't have to use her, but it obviously makes it easier, because I think they give out a free Hilda. So if you've got a free Hilda, then you build her up, put Humagorgor on her, or HP, because you don't need to put defense. She's got the highest defense in the game. No need, right? But yeah, Humagorgor, very, very good. And then that's her stats, right? Anti-ground damage resistance, 46%. Anti-air damage resistance, 16%. Melee damage resistance, 35%. Vanity absorption, 200%. Not the greatest, but, you know, it is what it is, right? I do need to improve these, though. They're both at 15.4%. But, yeah, I need to make it so that they're, like, higher or something. I need to also put this to C7, because crit damage resistance is really, really good. And obviously, melee damage resistance is what you want on Hummingbird. I think these are all maxed out as well, so I don't need to worry about making these gears any higher, right? For Ifrit, full attack speed. Attack speed is pretty low still, though. Only 21.8%. And then there's all the rest of that. Then I have my Rivet. That's her name. Full skill haste. Those are my stats there. Anti-CO damage 50%, but I think that just comes from her skill. We've got Arius, who is the healer for this team. Shit gears, no skill haste, but yet she still works. She only needs that one heal or two, right? And that'll help a lot, because it's basically based on shields. The damage will go into the shields first, not the health. So as long as you have shields on everybody, heals are not really that necessary. But it's best to have one, just in case a character just doesn't have a shield. It just makes it so that they live a little longer. Curian. Oh my god. Yeah, as you can see, 11,000 attack. 11,000 attack. He is a fucking beast. I swear to God, Curian is literally broken. Like, he's not even built, as you can see. He's literally not even built. And he does. I saw him do, like, on a crit hit, 26,000 damage. Fucking insane. Highest DPS unit that I have right now. Insane. Holy shit. It's just amazing, right? But yeah, like, this is what I've got, right? Crit damage 60%, attack speed 2. I want to change that. Yeah, it's just ground damage 60%. It's all bollocks. But like, you don't even need to build him. He's like the easiest unit to build. Just give him any gear and he'll do fine. So long as he doesn't die. Oh boy. Yeah, that's my Karen one as well. I don't know why I used her specifically, but I just needed to fill in unit slots. But then she has to, like, she gives herself an attack speed buff. She's not at all necessary. But there's her stats anyway. Lumi. Now, she does have a purpose. With her reactor, she creates a barrier. And that's why she was able to create a barrier, like, on there. It's because of her reactor, not because of any of these skills. And I think that's why the special skill gets sent, right? Gets used. That's how she gets that. But yeah, pretty shit stat again, but that's not surprising, considering my track record. Yes, we got Answers Vi, just a lone set of main hands for some reason. And yeah, pretty shit, as usual. Shit skills. I don't use them much, to be fair. Like, I haven't really wanted to, but this is, again, a filler unit, just so I can get something out quickly to hopefully do some damage or something. And there we go. That's the second team done. Third team, Xiun. Xiun best boy. We've got 100,000 health. Only 8,000 attack. Nearly a full set of maze. I feel like having HP on him was only because of this. I think otherwise you don't want HP on him. Honestly, you want attack speed, I think, because of his his passive skill, right? Every 4 attacks he does like every fourth crit attack, he does like a counter attack, and that's what counter attacks inflict true damage, sealing target skills for 4 seconds. That's what makes him dangerous. So you want attack speed, really, not HP. So don't listen to this. But these are his stats, regardless. And Lvl1, then you have, like, this is the one that gave damage amplification as well. Again, absolute piece of shit gears, and there's his stats. Then you've got the healer for Claudia. She just needs to heal once, just to make sure that she just lives a little bit longer, just a few seconds longer. I managed to get a full CDR set, but, like, it doesn't really do too much. And that's her stats right there. Oh, also, 66.6 crit damage. Hilarious. Full set of Spectral Smite for her, because it gives attack and crit damage. Because she's an offensive backliner. And these are her stats right now. I'm gonna try and replace that with Maze if at all possible, if I get the chance. We have Christina. She's just an aerial supporter. Goes and weakens enemies, I think. And then that's her stats right there. And then we have Buzzard. Just, you know, again, just to fill in units and just anti-striker, right? I'm just full on going against the anti-striker stuff because it's a sniper unit. So going at a use while it has the use before I put attack speed and actually give it a proper build. But those are its stats right there. And then Laura, she has full maze ASPD. And then we have that 41% skill haste, pretty terrible, but it is what it is. And then Lucretita, which is like one of the worst built units that I've got right now. And those are her stats. So, yeah, like, it works, you know, it works. Oh, so I forgot to mention, Rachel Dodds, yes, she does, friendly defenders and strikers with melee damage plus 60% and damage taken reduction plus 4.5%. So, more damage and takes in less damage. And also, New Detroit as well. Attack, ally strikers attack plus 20%, attack speed plus 50%. So it's all for Shiyun. It's all for Shiyun. That's why I'm doing this, right? So, these are my builds. They're definitely not great, but it just proves that you basically need nothing to complete these. You just need a half-good team comp, and you'll pass it no problem, really. And hopefully this goes to show that you don't need to worry about doing this. No matter how scary some units may be, it's piss easy to get past them, right? Like, it really is. So long as you got, like, what, I used 4 Awakens that entire time, I think? Yeah, 1, 2, and, wait, 1, 3, and 4. Yeah, 4 Awakens. 5 Awakens. But you can go to 4. Like, that 5th Awaken was not it. So, I used 4. You could probably do 2, to be honest. I think, like, 1 for the 2nd stage and 1 for the 3rd stage. That's really it, to be honest. So, yeah, there you go. There's a small little guide. I'm sorry that I didn't explain it very well, but I hopefully did it enough so that you can understand. If you have any questions or any, like, things you want me to cover, please do tell me down in the comments, and I'll try and help as best as I can. Obviously, I'm not a pro at this, but I thought I might give my pointers for this mode because it's a very, very good mode, and it's also something to remind me to go and do it because I've got full Eternium, and I'm now going to be grinding. In fact, let's just use it all right now, right? Level 2, let's just fucking, yeah. In fact, level 30. 32, like 448, and just before we go, I'm just gonna tell you about something else as well, which is the Swift gear. The Swift gear makes it so that you have like more skill haste, more attack speed, and more speed. So it's very good for soldiers. If you are able to make Swift, very, very good for soldiers. So this is why I say do Swift first, because it's 1, the easiest, and 2, it gives the most rewards, right? Because the other 2 are more specific, right? For the Jungle Inferno. But, yeah, now that I've got some, I'm able to craft some Swift, which is excellent. Hopefully you did enjoy. If you got any questions, as I said before, in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.